And in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? This is Spare with a Gun from Sleepless Night Studios, and you might notice that I am not on our Feed the Beast server, where normally we've been doing our turtle stuff. That is because I had filmed about 15 minutes or so of this episode already on that server, and we have had some bad weather today, and it crashed my computer. Power outage thing, like blip, you know. Apparently my battery pack and surge protector and all that do not work all that well. So yeah, I'm in my single player creative world at the moment. Mostly because it's still not really nice weather out, and I didn't want to try and run the server thing again, hopefully, you know, so it doesn't crash it or break it or anything. So we're going to be working in just creative mode for today, since we're probably going to be working on new stuff, write some new scripts. I just put this monitor here in case I need it. I don't really have a use for it right now. So yeah, couple of things I want to go over. First is kind of basic variables and stuff, and then I'd like to get into some RedNet stuff, just as an example. So the first thing is variables. Like, let's make a new script just for our purposes. One of the things is when you're declaring variables, you can just do something like command equals blah, something like that. Or another way you can do it is say local, if you can spell local, command. And then later down, and you can assign it stuff here too. You can say this is blah, or you can come down here later after it's declared and do the same thing. Basically, oh, and if you weren't aware, I'm using an advanced computer here, and these are advanced monitors. To my knowledge, the only thing the advanced monitors have is that they can display color over the default monitors. And I think there might be a couple mouse-related programs like Paint, but I don't know if that's on the computer or if that's the monitor. On the computers, one of the biggest things is syntax highlighting. So like local is a keyword, blah is a string, and it detects it and it color codes it accordingly. The other thing is the advanced computers come with the mouse input-output, so instead of having to use the arrow keys and go over here or whatever, you can just click and it'll take you to that spot. Speeds up programming a little bit. I still recommend, if you're doing like big scripts, to do them outside in a like Notepad++ or some other editor, because it's not so much like the typing's any faster or anything, but one, you can make the screen bigger so you can see what you're doing a little bit better. But two is also mostly just that it's easier to navigate, like for your turtle scripts and stuff, because turtles are, I've never actually tried to make a turtle with an advanced computer, but I don't think it works. So you're kind of stuck with a regular computer, to my knowledge, which, you know, you can't just click around wherever. You have to use your arrow keys. There's no highlighting, etc. So if you're getting into big scripts and not just something simple, then yeah, I recommend using the advanced ones, or a different editor. I'm just gonna put some glowstone around so I don't have to keep setting the time all the time. Get it? And since I'm in creative, I'll use glowstone instead of torches, because that's how I roll. Okay, that should be enough. Probably too much, but whatever. So yeah, with the variables, there are more than one kind, obviously, but there's 3 or 4 really basic ones that you use a lot, and that's going to be, and the local command, I forgot to mention, this one might be bad. This episode might be bad simply because I've covered some of this stuff before since my power outage stuff, so I might happen to gloss over things thinking that I already covered them. But the local keyword keeps, from my understanding, it keeps the variables you declare in this particular program. So if I say local command equals run or whatever, from my understanding, if you declare it local, then when you make a second program, you can't just tie that in and say command and use command there and expect it to equal run, because this is a local variable. I haven't really run into any situations where they overlap, like you use the same variable names a lot or anything like that, or at least that they try and pull the same variable. Like even if I've declared things like this before, and then I do the same thing but with a different definition here in another program, but it doesn't seem to pick it up. So I declare them as local anyway, just because it's good practice. When you're programming, it's a good idea to keep things isolated unless you intend for them to be able to be used elsewhere. But for the most part, I haven't actually run into many situations where you really need to do that. But for example, like this is the red line, the red stuff here. Anything inside these quotes is considered a string. And you'll run into that a lot in programming because a string is basically just text. Like if you tell it to do certain things and these variables aren't strings, a couple things happen. It'll either return, like say, there's a command, I'm not sure if I've used it or not, called print. And you could say print write. And when this runs... Oh, actually, there's one other thing that... It's a little bit more advanced. Let me see if I remember how to do this right. I believe... well, nah, we won't do it. There's a way to do peripheral wraps. So, like, the monitors here are considered a peripheral. And if you wrap the peripheral to, you would do something like, I'm not sure, I haven't used the peripheral wrap thing much, so I might be a little off, but I believe it's wrap, and then the side that it wraps on, I believe, I think. We're gonna try it. But you can with the print command, you could have said write, which will print write, or if you have a string variable, you can do command and it will print the same thing. Now, if you have something like 25 or 35, wrong button, and you type in num, I'm pretty sure this is either going to print weird data or it's going to tell you there's something wrong, like it can't print that because it's not a string. This is actually a integer, which is a fancy way of saying a whole number. A float or a double is like .5. If anything with a decimal point is usually either a float or a double, depending on what's used for. Most commonly you see floats as these with decimal points. I'm a little rusty on the variable types as far as what their actual differences are, but I believe a double is larger than a float. So if you need more decimal placements, like way out here type of thing, you would use a double, I think. Other than that, I'm not really sure if there's a whole lot of difference. But say this is 35. So this is an integer, and in Feed the Beast here with turtles and whatnot, integers are normally fine. I haven't done too complicated scripts, but normally I haven't really run into any situations where you needed decimal points. I guess if you were doing GPS positioning, and trying to get the exact coordinates of where the turtle is or something, maybe then you'd want decimal points. But for the most part, if you're just counting how many times a loop is run or, you know, something like that, an integer works fine. The other one, and I don't know, again, I don't know if this will work either. The other variable type is a bool, which I don't want to use that name. Actually, I'll use B because bool might be a keyword for it. But for the most part, bool is true or false. Basically, it's a true or false value. So we're gonna try. Let's see. Now, I forget how monitors work. It should be. Is it dot print? Oh no, we're gonna try it. Yeah, we're gonna try it. Actually, we're gonna try it with command first because I know that one will print. We're gonna see if this works. Nope. Attempt to call nil, which is line 7. Which is gonna be this. Maybe it's right? I forget. I haven't used the peripheral wrapping thing in a while. Oh, okay, so it's right. Okay, and as you can see, it prints right. Now, okay, so this is a good example. So if you want your monitors, and you don't want to constantly type, because the alternative to this is if you do a shell run, which shell is kind of like the default commands of the actual operating system, which in this case is let's see, reboot. CraftOS 1.5 for Computer Craft. Yeah, and if you type reboot here, it just restarts the computer. So if you have a startup script and you've changed something and you want to recycle it, you can just type reboot. You can also use that in your scripts if you need to. You can call it. But see, like, for example, here, I think... Okay, I'm not really sure, but when you're in a script, you would type, if you want to run something, instead of just typing like here, for example, instead of doing like reboot, like I want it to reboot here, this will not work in a script. Because once you're in a script, you're not using the CraftOS anymore, you're using Lua. So Lua doesn't know what this is. So what you do is shell is part of kind of the middleman between Lua and the CraftOS. So if you type shell and then tell it run, it means you're going to run a program. And then you do monitor. And then you do right, I believe, which is like the right side. And then you would do command. So I think, let's test it. No, okay, so the program is the middle. Oh, that's right. It goes program arguments, I think. I don't know. I forgot how I did that. I don't remember. Anyways, like, okay. Shall run print. And we'll do, oh, I'm just messing this all up. And command. Let's see if this works. Nope. Okay, so print is a Lua script then, not a CraftOS. Anyways, I forget the actual order of everything, but you type run, and then it's like the program, and then comma, and then the arguments, and then comma, and so on. But if you don't want to do that every single time, you do this peripheral wrap and you tell it what side you're wrapping the peripheral to, and then you can just do m.write and then type in whatever. Now, what we're going to try here is number, because I don't think... Oh, it does do it. I'll be dip. Okay. Alright. Well, let's try B, see what it does there. Okay, so why is it printing both? Did I not? It's weird. Whatever. So they're all used for different things. Apparently the write function will work for most anything. But say, okay, say you receive, let's put number as 0. And input equals 35. So, if you try to do an if statement here, like if... No, hold on. Let's do this. This is what I meant. If you have a string that's a number, for example, like if you're receiving an argument from the user and if you prompt the user like enter a number between 1 and 5, when they enter it, it's going to store as a string. I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know exactly, but say you have a number, you sent it in a message. You know, you're gonna send a message to Shredder over there, which I did rename him. So he's Shredder. So say I'm gonna send a number to him, but he needs to see it as a number. The only way that I know of to send it to him over RedNet is by including it in the string message. So it has to be a string, but he needs to see it as a number. So the way we fix... What the... Weird. The way we fix that is with... there's a couple different ways you could do it. Like you could do... I think there's a... toNumber? There's a toNum number, I think. We're gonna try it. Let's see, does toString come up? Because this toString parentheses and then inputting something. So like say this is a number, but I need it to be a string. So we're gonna get rid of this. Now, what's gonna happen here is it's overriding number with a string version of the number. So now num is going to be equivalent to this, which is a string version of the number. So you lose like your math stuff, really. You couldn't add and subtract this once it's here because now it's under a string. I mean, you can, but it's a lot more complicated. But this would allow you to connect it to another string, or it would also allow you to send it over RedNet. So you can use these two strings, and I believe the other is toNum. So what we're going to try and do here is number equals toNum num. And then we're going to check it. So if number is equal to 0, which is not a string, it's a number, so it should have changed back then. And what we'll do is it's a number. So if we see it's a number, it means it changed back to a number at that point. Now what I'm going to do here is something called concatenation, which what this is when you add a string to another string. So what we're going to do is write, and then we're going to say command. Now, Lua is kind of weird in how it concatenates. Most languages use like a plus, and then you would do number or something like that. Loo, on the other hand, does 2 dots, which it's kind of strange because I've never seen that done before. But it's whatever. That's the language. So what I'm gonna do here is add a space, and then a comma, and then this is num. And now we're going to concatenate again and add the number. So in theory, this should be a string now, which is equivalent to 0. And then this is going to say the command. It's going to concatenate to this is num, and then it's going to add the number string also. So in theory, all of this should be one long word, basically. It sees it as text. And then it should, I'm not sure. You know what, come to think of it, I think this is number to number. This should, in theory, convert it back to a number, which it'll trigger this, and then it should print this. So we're going to try it. Okay, so oh, hold on. I didn't clear the monitor. Let's add that to our script. I don't know if there's an actual clear command or not, so maybe there is. Let's try that. I haven't messed with these peripheral controls much other than write, so we're gonna see if it clears it, but it puts a weird space. Let's try. I don't know. I don't know how to clear it. I think, isn't there monitor? Okay, so help monitor. Monitor left hello. We'll run the hello program. Monitor top edit foo will run the edit program on the top monitor. Oh, okay, so let's try this. Oops. Oh, I didn't do a side. So write edit test. Oh, nifty. So, you know, I'm not sure that you'd always want to do this because I don't know how you. Oh. Oh. Oops. Where'd he go? I don't know. It's a lost cause. Okay, so if you put it up on the screen, you can right-click on it. Now, let's see. But see, I can't type, though. Oh. That's weird. So that's kind of cool that you can see what you're doing. I don't really like that I can't type while I'm seeing it, though. So I probably wouldn't use that a whole lot. Okay, well, at least that cleared it. So yeah, let's run this again. Alright. So here's the number. Okay, so we've got write, which is command, concatenates the string, and then it spaces, and it's 0. Now, okay, so that's how you clear it. You know what? We're going to write a script here real quick called MCL. And what we're going to do to give you an example of the run, now that I remember the syntax, is monitor, write, and clear. I think this should work. Yeah. Okay. So basically, that gives you an example of how the shell program works. You type in the program and then arguments. So the monitor program takes a side argument and then it takes another argument, which if it equals a program, it's going to run the program. If it equals a string, then it would print the string. So that's how you use the shell run type command. So one thing that I'm not sure in Lua is how to do a new line. Let's see if it's the same. I forget. Nope. That's a question mark. Oh, now, here's another thing you can do. When you're in a program like this, here, you can... You know what? I wonder if there's a run. I really haven't messed with these peripheral things all that much. So I'm not really sure of what all there is or isn't. Yeah, there isn't a run, I guess. Or at least I'm not doing it right. How about if we make this a string? Because a lot of things need strings. Nope. Okay, so that's probably not the case. Now, since we have that script for clearing the monitor, what we can do here is run MCL. And this is going to run our script every time at the beginning that we run tests, so it's going to clear this monitor every time, which makes it a lot easier to see how your data is working. Now, as for this, with the /n, I don't remember which way it is, so we're going to try this way. Okay, so that's not it. Most strings, there's a new line character. I just don't know what it is in Lua. I'd have to look that up. Which, yeah. I wonder. Programs. APIs. Help. String. String is a standard. Ah, crap. Doesn't tell you what I want to know. Oh yeah, these are all the different APIs, like peripheral I used to do wrap, shell I used to do run, RedNet's how you do the RedNet type stuff, disk is a, all these are different APIs, which, as we talked about, are application programming interfaces. It's basically a quick way to run programs. In essence, the thing in test that runs another program, MCL, is kind of like an API because you can run one program and have it run multiple things, which is kind of what these do, so that you don't have to type every single thing out. The turtle API, when you tell it turtle move, I mean, there's probably a bunch of other commands in there to update its position and move it and change its data and all that good stuff, but you don't see all that because you're using an API. So I really don't remember, though. I wonder if there's a way. Let's try a right line, see if that works. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Some APIs have a way to break the lines. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up before I do the next episode on how to do that. So anyways, but you can see here when we run test. What's the problem? Oh, it's still there. I didn't save it. Save, exit. Okay, so what you can see here is it says write, and then this is number, and then it gives you the number because it's in the string, so it can see what it is. I don't believe this would actually work if I comment this line out. And a comment is 2 dashes, and you can see it on an advanced computer, it turns things green. And that just means the computer won't do anything with it. Oh, it still sees it. Man, it's just proving me wrong today. Anyways, so apparently you don't need it to print the script, but what you will need it for is for receiving, like if you were to receive a message from RedNet, which we're going to probably get into next episode, we're about out of time. If you were to receive a program or a number from RedNet, it comes in as a script. But the fact that when we run this, you see the it's a number means that the 2 number here is working and it's converting it back to a number. I believe. I think. Let's see. Let's test that. Right. Plus, oops. Plus 5. And let's go ahead, put some spaces here so we can see it a little better. Okay, so as you can see, it's back to being a number by here because you can add to it. If this were still a string, it wouldn't be able to add stuff together, because strings are, you can, but it's weird. It's different to do than regular plus signs and whatnot. For example, if you were to do, let's try -5. This will be a good test. See, it has it as -5. That proves it's a number now, because the way that numbers in a string work is ASCII, which I believe it means that the numbers are oops. The numbers are basically a code for what letter to use. Dadgummit, it's just not liking me today. That's weird. Anyways, normally I'm probably messing something up, but normally, if your number is a string and not an actual integer, when you mess with adding and subtracting, it changes it to where sometimes you get letters and symbols and stuff because it's moving around what ASCII value it has, not the actual number. Apparently, Lua here is still keeping it a number for some reason. Possibly because I'm storing it in a number, so let's go ahead and declare a different variable here. Let's see what that does. It'll probably do the same thing because it's liking me. Yeah, it did. It's making a liar out of me today. But yeah, you'll see the toString. I think Lua and the write command and all this are basically doing some of their own alterations so that nothing gets screwed up. Like it's coded to do things to change things around so that it doesn't get messed up. You'll see this come in handy though when we get into RedNet, because this allows you to send numbers where RedNet's looking for a string and only a string, and if you try and enter a number, it gets messed up and doesn't like you. So at the moment, it's just making a liar out of me. But when we get into the RedNet stuff, or functions that only can take a string and stuff, it actually does have its uses. But this is your basic variables, string, integer, boolean, kind of the basics. There's some other ones like floats and tables and stuff like that. For simple stuff though, you really don't need them. And if it gets to where we need more and more of them, then, you know, I'll work with it as we go. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Peace!